I'm going to be taking this Sprinter van to the Sahara Desert to go dune bashing in a few weeks, and there's some things we need to get done first. So to do this, we're going to need 1, a winch, and 2, a winch tray, and 3...
a complete idiot who, for some reason, signed up for this.
It's a weekend tasks. So I have gone for a terrafirma winch, which there are far better winches on the market, but these are the correct price point for the application of what I'm doing, because in theory I'm going to need this winch once in a blue moon, and I'm not going to have to pull that hard with it, so that is probably the best one for this application. I'm also going for, I want to say Maer, what is it, Liam? Maer,
yeah.
Maer winch tray. There are a few other winch trays on the market, however, I like the look of this one because it's got the big recovery points from it, and something that these vans do not have much of on the front end is recovery points, so that is key. Also, it's again a very good price point without going silly expensive, because that winch tray itself is under £500, whereas you go for the really, really nice full-blown winch trays for these, the £3,500. That is a huge chunk of money. I'm more than happy to drive around in cars that are less than £3,500, never mind having a £3,500 winch tray. First task of the day is getting access, so it's going to be spotlights off, grille off, bumper off.
Why can't you buy actual trucks where things are held on with real nuts and bolts, dude, instead of these plastic pieces of shit?
He's getting emotional because he works on things like this. This is his company thing. And Liam also knows that I've had the past 20 odd years driving things like this and still have things like this.
Yeah, and at some point you had a spark of madness and got rid of them all.
Because this morning I sat at 70, 80 mile an hour all the way here in pure comfort, with working heaters, with working door seals, and a podcast on.
What's your point? Comfort is a false god.
Wrong answer. What I would say is, when you're doing this job, make sure you order another set of these plastic bungy-majiggy things. They're absolutely everywhere. With it being a van rather than, like, say, a Landy or something like that, it's all plastic clips and trims and things rather than just nuts and bolts. So these are getting chewed up, taking them off. So if you want it to look good, get some fresh ones ready to go back together. So, like, underneath, 2 of them pull-out tabs there. You've got a couple of pull-out tabs on this bit here. This bit here, you just have to give it some brute force and ignorance and it pops off. And over here, you've got a couple of bolts on them sections. So I've got 2 bolts here and another 2 bolts here. Liam's loving the fact that he needs every tool to do this.
That's ridiculous, mate.
So for anybody that's wanting to put spotlights on the grille, this is what you're up against. There's not many metal brackets or anything like that to fit to on the front of these vans. Just this metal crash bar and these points here. The next task that we're doing is, I've got some underbody protection on this one. Maer do an underbody protection kit, but I've already put one on years ago. Liam's noticed that it just overlaps ever so slightly. So what he's going to do, he's going to get the angle grinder out and just nip the corner off my skid plate, and this tray will then fit off. You know someone invented ladders, right?
Yeah, I can't be asked getting out.
We're now going to find out how well I mounted a latitude awning on the way down.
Got bolts though.
So, on inspection, we've got the main plate that goes on there. That's self-explanatory. And we've got the 2 side bits, which are absolutely awesome, and one of the reasons why I prefer this winch tray to others, because it gives you extra impact protection on the corners, which I do think you need on a 4x4. As a van, they're pretty soft on the front end compared to, say, Land Rovers and whatnot. The main thing we're lacking at the minute is, 1, it didn't come with any bolts. None whatsoever, which I'm a bit surprised at. And 2, we've got multiple different brackets and things, which there is no instructions either. So it looks like that piece there and that piece there slide into the chassis rails, and then you bolt the bottom bit on, as well as the 4 screws that you'd have with your factory one. But we don't know what that piece is for, and we don't know what those 2 little brackets are for as well. Right, so what Liam's done here is he's just whipped this down a bit so it doesn't interfere with the skid plate. I'm guessing if you've got the Maer skid plate, it'll all just work together. The next thing he's done is we've just bolted this up. This piece here is going to slide down here, and then it's going to bolt up to this. We can then take these bolts out and fit this part. We've also figured out what all these other little bits do, so make sure you're still following for that.
Rich mistook a rusty bolt for a piece of chocolate earlier. He's lost 3 teeth.
Gonna need a magnet tomorrow. That's a bit too quick though, isn't it? This hasn't happened before, people. These will all get talked to Ugga Dugga. Right, winch time. So we're opening this up and see what we've got. So we've got some nice big shackles, some batteries for the remotes. We've got the hook. We've got a nicer hook to go on there. And we're just opening this up now. And hopefully, the only thing we're worried about is, does it come with cables? Let's have a look. It does. Look at that bad boy. Why were you ever doubting me?
Chances are they're enough.
So we were a little bit worried about how much this intercooler sticks out, but we have actually got plenty of room on there. So what we're going to do, we'll get this bolted down now, and then the next thing is going to be where the actual solenoids and everything are going to sit, because that is the big question on these, is what room you've got to play with on that.
We are going to do this.
See, I do everything.
That's got to you. Yeah, I'm in your head.
I'm going to teabag you in a minute.
Motherfucker.
Someone's got to film it, right? If we both do it, there is no video. That's how this works, mate. I'll come down here. It makes me look good. It makes me look good. It makes
Bollocks! Not having it.
free advertising.
I know you don't work fucking Saturdays anymore, but can we do this? Yeah, actually, fine.
I'm pretty sure that's not how it went. It's like, I'm going to go down to Jake's and do it. I can come up here.
Get me beer.
Oh, friend.
Get me beer.
Friend. Oh, friend. Overland friend. So now that we've actually got the winch itself mounted to the plate, make sure you put the cables for the solenoid on before you mount it down so you got access. The next thing is we need to take all the grill out so you can actually put your hand in here to turn the clutch on and off, and so the bumper will actually go on. If you do want to take the section out like we do, Liam, just point to it a second. Just there's a sensor that does unknown things that Mercedes Witchcraft likes. We're going to cut round that so you can still plug the sensor on when we put the bumper back on. If you want to relocate it, that's a you problem, but that's what we're doing. So now you can see there, before, where the back of the step was, that's where the grill went. So now you can get your hand in to turn that clutch on and off. So all we're doing now, and we're looking where the holes are going to be for the towing eyes. Every other winch mount that I've seen for the Sprinters doesn't have these, but like I say, specifically, this is why I wanted this bumper. So we're having an absolute nightmare with this bit, because it's, where do you put these holes through? Where do you put the hole for the actual rope to come through itself? And all this comes down to, you can't actually get the bumper up to it straight, because every which way we hold this, it wants to twist and warp, and you look down the back and mark it up with a marker pen, but in reality, the bumper's twisted by 20 mil in one direction or the other direction. What's massively failing, we'll just say, this is the difference between a good part and an amazing part. This would be an amazing part if a cardboard template came that just goes on the inside of your bumper, that you drop in with little lines on that say, cut here, cut here, cut here, and then you could just offer this up and it'd be a mint fit. But instead, you're guessing, cutting holes and then filling with trim possibly. So,
mate, it's a day's work for a company, that. Do you know what I mean? Like, 3D scan what you're trying to put on, 3D scan the bumper, do it all in CAD, and then just...
Yeah, but all they've got to do, on their website, they've got a nicely fitted one of these. Drop the bumper off, put some white card behind it, Sharpie through it, and then print that off mass-produced with every one, send that template with it, and some actual freaking nuts and bolts, because there's not been a single nut and bolt with this kit.
Nothing at all.
Which, The tray itself, mega. Fabrication's lovely.
Fabrication's brilliant, fitting.
Gal's lovely, but they've just fallen at Hadley, and
it's the last 10% they're missing.
They've made a 10-15 minute job cutting all this out into a couple of hours of on, off. Is it going to be right? And 10 minutes into this video, 10 more minutes into this, is this going to look like an absolute mess and I'm going to have to buy another bumper? We can offer it up and see in which direction we need to adjust, cut bigger and everything else like that. What I'll do is, if this works, I'll show you how we've done it. That bit's self-explanatory, take that bit out, but what would it have taken to have a piece of card that sits along there that says, cut out this square here, cut out this square here, and cut out roughly a square here, because this is the bit that's catching here, and obviously we've got to cut out for this. You can only cover so much up with that bit.
The other thing is as well, is that many features on this bumper that if you had a card template, like it's so blatantly obvious where the template would go. So you can't even say, people might mess up the template. It's like, well, they won't though, will they? Because you can't.
Yeah, it would just drop in, and if you got where them ruffles are, it just work. It would just work. Up again. So what we've done, we've looked at a picture on their website of where the fair lead sits. So it's marking the width now. So we're going to cut out to that. And you kind of know. We kind of know that basically we're going to cut out that bit, which is going to be there. So dude, even from this side, see where your number plate is? You could put a card template that sits perfectly on there, that folds over, that says cut here. And you could masking tape it up and...
Yeah, and instead we've got somebody sat in an office going, look at that cloud over there, I don't know what he's doing.
So the random brackets that we've got here, we've bolted them to this bit. This bit we're going to bolt to the bumper, and Liam's come out with the blinding idea of putting a riv nut in here and here. And then when we offer the bumper up, we can just bolt straight into there, and there's something on the back of it that we can actually get to. I don't know whether this is supposed to come with nuts and bolts or what, but we've just made do with what we've got. That does look like it's supposed to have a riv nut in it.
But who knows?
Who knows?
Who really understands how this is supposed to go together?
This 100% is a couple of hours work for us to do this, if there was all the gear.
And you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
If I could do one of these in the morning, no?
Oh yeah, yeah.
What I mean?
This has taken us all afternoon with two of us, and it really, really shouldn't have done. The terrafirma winch, the cables are nowhere near long enough to be of any use on a van application. So, Liam even liked this one. Come out with the idea that I'm going to put an Anderson plug on the front bumper. So I'm going to wire up into the Anderson plug with these cables, from the Anderson plug to an isolator in the cab, and from the cab to the battery. So there we go, that's back on. We pretty much just put everything back on as a reverse of what we've taken it off. There's still the winch to wire back to the battery with the isolator on, but that's another issue. That's not something that needs to be in this video. Big thank you for Hadley Services for supplying the winch tray. I'll put a link down in the description below, because I did try with a couple of other sellers and they're just long you on, mess you about. Hadley, absolutely sound. He got it in straight away for me, got it straight to me. There was a couple of weeks lead time, I think it was. And yeah, a massive thank you to the Adams Overline Company, as always, because we've taken up his day off playing.
I'm happy now it's done, we can go pub.
It's tea on me. I think it is. I think I'm buying tea and a few pints now. But yeah, in summary, it's not that terrible of a job. The only gripe I've got is knowing how much to cut out of there, because it seems wrong chopping so much out. And those, I am not happy whatsoever with the holes that I've cut out on them. So it's not the end of the world though, because, like I say, I want a plate that comes across here with an A-bar that comes up, and instead of putting my spotlights on these two little tabs, I can have it on the big bull bar thing. One bonus that Liam has pointed out is this section here, it actually protects the intercooler. So if I end up going off of a sand dune or something like that, I'm going to bury that solid steel kind of thing into the ground, rather than it going up through the plastic and knackering that. So there is more protection on there. If you want to see more modifications, more Sprinter stuff, obviously check out the build series so far and make sure you're subscribed. It is free to subscribe and it helps me out massively.